featured reader. Oh my god, you guys, I'm pretty sure I'm having a stroke up here. So our next featured reader, I'm so excited to introduce, recommended to me by my friends over at Chicana Poets. Claudia Cardona is a Chicana poet proudly born and raised in San Antonio, Texas. She is a current MFA poetry candidate at Texas State University, where she's also the editorial fellow for the Center for the Study of the Southwest. She's the editor-in-chief and co-founder of Chiflada Zine, an online and print publication that is dedicated to showcasing the creative work of Latinas and Latinxes. Her favorite flavor of ice cream is chocolate.
Nia, that was like incredible. Just like, we should clap again for her. I met Nia last year, I think it was. She was in my workshop, and like there are not that many people of color in MFAs, so like I feel like we vibed pretty easily, and like she's been like one of the best things to, I don't know, one of the best people to like enter the program, and I'm sad that you're leaving, but I'm happy that you'll be around. I'm really excited to also read with Maggie. She was my first workshop, and I feel like she saw my work in a way that like really encouraged my voice, and she really supported me, and I really enjoyed her poetry, and so I feel really lucky to read with both Nia and Maggie tonight. I wanted to start off with a poem by Analicia Sotelo. She's from San Antonio, so I wanted to bring like San Antonian vibes. This poem reminds me of Mr. Brightside by the Killers. You really killed that 80s love song. Now someone else is kissing him on a wrought iron balcony above the karaoke bar. And it's not animal, exactly. Not pretty either. The drunken howling behind you. You act like you're not watching, like you're talking on the phone on a wet Texas night instead of doing what you should have done before. Now it's raining harder. Now you're driving home at 2 a.m. on a road that's slick as sex, and you can still hear your friend David saying there's no way you could be in love if you've never been loved in the first place. Now you're curled in bed. Now the sun drifts to your knees. You've discovered humiliation is physically painful. The crown-like stigmata of a peach that's been twisted, pulled open, left bare. The juices must run somewhere. You can't help but imagine the knife in his body, her body, the pink, cloudy abode you're waiting for. So I think that like sets the tone for like my sad girl poetry. This first poem is like dedicated to anyone here from San Antonio. Yeah, represent. Go Spurs go. It's called My Heart is a Tourist Trap. I must admit, sometimes I'll impulsively order cheese enchiladas, only because the color of Tex-Mex cheese reminds me of the hue of my heart, and how I want to believe my chambers look like mi tierra. 1,000 rows of golden papel picado, intertwined with a million tiny lights. I've never been to the infinity room, but I swear to God, mi tierra comes close. It's always Christmas here, like West Side houses with faded lights under August heat. My ribcage houses waitresses adorned in red, white, and green, serving too many micheladas to men who never tip. And yes, the mariachis never cease to play. Lay your head on my chest and listen. I don't know, like, if anyone else, I mean, I know there's, like, poets here, because, like, I know y'all. But, like, I looked at, like, a poem I wrote, like, in undergrad, and I was like, this is really bad, and I used to be proud of it. And then I, like, revised it, like, 10 times, and now I'm, like, really happy with where it's at. It's called Lottery. Also dedicated to, like, San Antonians, like, that went to First Friday and, like, hung out around Taco Haven. It's Friday, and you're crossing the street from Taco Haven. And I don't remember how you looked or whether your shirt was red or gray. I only remember how you were telling me stories about taking drugs with Aubrey. But I was more interested in admiring the craters in your cheeks, and how you accidentally lit the cigarette filter again, how all of my memories of you include emerald glass bottles and porches, and how we walked by the river and you told me, everything always leads back to you. And I thought that meant you loved me, but I am no longer 18. I know that it means you will always exist in my dead skin. My body is made of winning scratch-offs, a lottery of 30,000 future poems shedding from my body every day for the rest of my life. How wonderful. All I have to do is scrub my skin and write. So this poem is pretty self-explanatory in the title. What it's like being a brown girl. Number 1. A bruised peach in the back of the fridge. An invitation to the seat at a table that's taken by someone else. Words too hard to pull out of your throat. A burnt tongue from gas station coffee. A book with rainwater-soaked pages. Beer bottle glass swept away at the bar. Spitting out Corpus Christi seawater. The name on a tombstone covered in crunchy leaves. Number 2. A name dipped in gold. A silent field of sun-stained grass where you wait for the moon to shine. The clink of glass against glass, celebrating the life you've been given. Putting your ear to your lover's chest for the first time. Counting your futures on each leaf of the front lawn peach tree. The sound of your mother's laugh dancing from the living room. A mouth that's full of chocolate that's a little bit bitter. Wrapped in plastic. Late night microwavable meals. The way shoegaze felt more sincere at 4 a.m. The weight of my body filled with unrequited love. I blame watching Godard for all the cigarettes I smoked, for the way I still romanticize bad habits. It's midnight now, and multicolored mascara stare as I'm dancing in the mirror, condensation dripping down my hands. I feel the blue light on my body like a late night date with my Criterion collection. My body is full of alcohol, like I am 18 again, drunk and dizzy, dancing in my bedroom to a song called Worthless. I feel so much love inside me that I want to love everyone I have ever loved again. I want to bite into a raw fish from the fridge, bare feet on cold kitchen tiles, the taste of flesh against teeth. This one's called Vibes. It's 7:56 p.m. and I want to stay on these steps for as long as I can. It's so beautiful here that I don't care about the mosquitoes kissing my ankles. I don't care if the bites get so big that they itch for months. It's like sex with bad men. That warm red itch that stays with me after they've deleted my number. And how I promise myself to always use their real names and call them ex-boyfriends when I'm telling stories. I want to show David how bad my bites are, how the biggest one is in the shape of his abuela's house, the dark blue couch in the front room, and the guitar in the backyard, and my blood on David's white sheets, the good kid, Mad City, and his grandmother sleeping in the next room. The moment when I rested my body on his car in a purple sweatshirt I've since lost. The red drugstore lipstick I left behind. How in my mind these are all different memories, but it all only happened that night in October. And this is how it all ended. My name unraveling from his throat, and my body learning how to turn away. Okay, so, who in here is an Aries? Sorry, this is dedicated to all the Aries in here. It's like Gemini season, so I'm feeling a little chaotic. Are there any Geminis? Okay. Y'all are fine. I mean, not my favorites, but I honor the Gemini feeling right now this season. This is called Aries and Venus. Before I do anything else, I check my horoscope in bed. I think about how our hearts are marked by the shape of a ram. Last week, I briefly considered love spells, but settled for tarot cards instead. I lit the sage and summoned the image of you, scraping your windshield clean of ice. That January morning, I watched you through bedroom blinds with a towel atop my head, like a wedding cake topper. We made plans about glass-bottom boats and walks around Spring Lake. You said, let's skip the lake. It's not going anywhere. And so I wore wet hair and your James Brown shirt to dinner. You recounted all the trips you took with your dead father. I ate my pasta and thought, life will always be like this. So much relied on the immediate kiss in your kitchen. I reached under your shirt, searching for something immaculate. Something like Catholic spires of my childhood, arrogant and begging to be touched. I spread the cards on my bedroom floor like icing on cake. I drew the lovers and felt triumphant. Today, I remembered how I used to pull out my mother's gray hairs while she bathed me, and how I asked my father if he grew up in black and white. Loving you was like that, the desire to believe in something. So this is my last poem. I also forgot to mention, I have zines with me. So my zine, Chiclada zine, it's a online and print publication. So if you identify as Latina or Latinx, we're accepting submissions right now. They're like creative, so any poetry, photography, whatever, basically pitch us. And I have like cards too. So I think I have the current issue that just came out this fall, the fall issue. And we got like thousands. We got like a bunch of submissions, and it's like it's really great. Like it's just really great to have like a platform for Latinas and Latinxes because I feel like that's very necessary. So if you have questions about it or want to submit, like come ask me about it. This one is my last poem, and it's called "Just One More, I Promise." In my favorite memory of you, I'm wearing my rolled up blue jeans and black velvet shoes. You tell me not to jump in the puddle, but I do it anyway. You drove me in your father's car, kissing me badly with your eyes closed. The green light washed over our faces like a war Convoy film, not caring if we crashed. How it would have hurt less than still needing to write this poem. It's September now, and autumn has never felt the same. And so that I am honest with you, I often think about how I'd like to be buried. A jar of wild honey and those blue jeans. Remember me as a woman who loved blue too much. Thank you.